My name's Richard Gowler, and I live in Bacton in North Norfolk. I'm 43 years old, and 4.5 months ago I was 600 pounds, and I've kind of lost a chunk of it and on the way to losing the rest. At 600 pounds, my quality of life was very poor. I was clearly struggling to get clothes and things, and walking 100 yards was a real struggle. And walking a few yards, I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. With obviously, well, my assumption is that my blood pressure was quite high as well. So, I mean, just having lost sort of just over 10 stone so far, the difference has been huge to my quality of life now. But I'm holding on to the fact that losing another 10 stone will hopefully improve my quality of life by another great huge chunk as well. So I ordered a rowing a Concept2 rowing machine, and I waited until that was here and delivered before I actually started sorting myself out. I also bought a set of heavy duty scales, and even though I bought the heaviest duty ones I could find, they only weighed up to 550 pounds. So for the first 50 pounds I had to lean on another set of scales on the kitchen counter as well, so it was kind of a guesstimate round weighing. My wife helped me to do that, and I altered my diet drastically. I've read a couple of books on nutrition, and looked at all kind of websites, especially the Concept2 website, for tips on diet and on better ways of kind of living, if you like. But I think for me the main change was the fact that I've been on many diets through my life, and now I actually see it as a new way of life as opposed to a diet that has an end to it. And I picked the Concept2 rower because I looked up on Google commercial. I think I put in something like commercial quality rowing machine, on the basis that as a big guy, I've always understood that industrial stuff is usually made in bigger sizes and more able to cope with heavier weights and that kind of thing. And Concept2 came straight up, and Steve Redgrave was on the site, and that kind of inspired me to think, well, if Steve Redgrave is saying that this is a decent rowing machine, then I don't really need to look any further. So that was why I kind of settled on a Concept2. It's had a huge impact on my life so far, and it's had a very big impact on my wife. I think both of us had kind of got to the stage where we were wondering how many more years I'd have with the direction I was kind of heading in. And now we sort of regularly go out walking the dog. We walk sort of 3 or 4 miles on the weekend, and it's, I barely break a sweat now doing that. Whereas the thought of walking half a mile before would have been a major issue. So and my dog likes it a lot as well, because she gets a lot more walks. And whereas she was kind of, whenever a walk was coming up, she'd be looking at my wife for it, she now comes and hassles me for a walk, knowing that there might actually be the opportunity that I'd come with her as well. When I ordered the rowing machine, I was aware that I think the weight limit is somewhere in the region of 35 stone, and I think I was around 43 at 600 pounds. So I've got a father-in-law who's a carpenter, and so I had him make a support which sits underneath the hinged area where your feet go on the rower, and that kind of stops what I perceived would be the most likely kind of place where it might break. I do 2-2 target rifle shooting and archery, and we've got some high impact foam that's used for targets. So I cut myself a seat for the rower as well, because I found before I got the prop, I was rowing with my feet on the floor, and I damaged my coccyx doing that. and caused myself quite a bit of pain. So I've got a more padded seat now. There's a thing on your website from a professor in America, I think, who talks about moving to the point where you can row for 20 or 30 minutes, I think. And in order to do that, when you've been sedentary for a long time, he suggested that you kind of did 2 minutes and then a 30-second break, and 2 minutes and a 30-second break, and then extended that to 3 minutes and then 5 minutes. So I kind of followed that to start with. 3 minutes when I first started rowing was as much as I could physically manage. I mean, something I found really helpful with the rower compared to most other exercises was that it does seem to share the load. And being a big guy, if I had to walk a long way, all of that load is taken through my knees and my ankles, whereas on a rower it's kind of spread out through arms, back, legs, etc. So that was really helpful. I think I pretty much focused on 5,000 meters as the initial kind of thing to aim for me, which I got to. And I think one of my first times at 5,000 meters was somewhere around 24, 25 minutes. I think off the top of my head, my fastest for 5,000 meters now is 1954, I think. And I've had quite a lot of very positive feedback from people on the site saying that that's actually a pretty good time for somebody in the state that I was in. There's a thing on the website that I noticed called the O'Neill fitness test, and where I think you row for 4 minutes and see how far you can get. The first couple of times I tried that, I was getting just over 900 meters, which according to the scales that were kind of on the website was a bit poo. In fact, quite poo. I think the best I've done is 10.75. Which age and everything taken into account said that I think it was average, which for me I was quite impressed with being average at that point. I've not done anything much more. I did 10,000 meters a couple of times. I think my best was about 42 or 43 minutes. But what I tend to do is I get up at 6 in the morning and do my exercises. So 10,000 meters at that time of the morning and then going to work afterwards was difficult, and that's why I kind of focused on the 5,000. Other than that, I've not really done many others. I think on my forum there's a list of the different times I've got, but the only ones that kind of stick in my mind are the 4 minute thing and the 5,000 meter one. But I am encouraged by people's comments who have said things like, when you get down to a more reasonable weight, you should be able to do a pretty impressive kind of time, and they're encouraging me to come to the BIRC and things. Unfortunately, fortunately, I'm in India this time round, but I'd certainly be very happy to come to the next one, and especially to kind of thank some of the people on the forum that have been really supportive and helpful. I've found the forum a really helpful support mechanism for me. I mean, part of my problem was that I was an online gamer, and that's pretty much how I spent every moment that I wasn't at work or asleep. And so obviously that doesn't shed pounds very easily. It doesn't improve your resting heart rate or any of those kind of things. And I'm not sure whether you're aware, but within online gaming, it's not only very competitive, but it can be very backbiting and very aggressive kind of environment. And forums on game sites are usually quite aggressive as well. So going on the Concept2 website and the forum, reading under the weight management and fitness sort of heading, I was quite pleasantly surprised to see that it seemed to be a very supportive environment for people. And I'd been losing weight for a while, and felt that it would be a sort of a fairly safe place to put those details down, if you like, to really for my own benefit, hoping that I would get people who may sort of be there to celebrate with me when things are going well, and to give me a kick up the arse when things are not going maybe so well. and was astounded to find that I think I've been putting posts on there for 2-3 months, maybe something like that, and I've never had a single negative comment. In an online gaming kind of environment, probably every other comment is going to be sort of flaming you and attacking you, whereas the response I've had on this site has been nothing but positive. So it's been a real help.